A lot of people ask me about the specs of the Fisker Ocean. What's the headroom? Does the back seat fold flat? Which wheels are the primary for propulsion? What do the plastics feel like in the interior? But the most consistent question I've gotten is, what will the service be like? How can third parties even do service? Today I'll talk about who does the service for the Ocean, what service they'll be doing, and where you can go to get things done. Sound good? Let's do this. Everyone who has owned a car has had to take it in to get service at one time or another. Let's dive into that for a second. A mechanic is someone who works on a car. A technician is someone who can diagnose all the problems with a car and then, with the help of a mechanic, correct them. The technician sometimes has some guesswork to do, but it all starts with the scanner. The scan tool is always the first step in diagnosis. So, your car needs service. Where are you going to go? So far, for the Fisker Ocean, it's these places. Let's say you've taken your Fisker in for service. Normally, if the problem isn't easy to diagnose, the technician has to start doing some guesswork. And that's where internal combustion and electric cars diverge, because the things that can go wrong with either one are pretty different. So, what can go wrong with an EV? The short answer, not as much. But here it is. First, the drivetrain. Just because there's a battery doesn't mean most of the components underneath of the car aren't really similar or exactly the same as what a technician or a mechanic would be used to working on. Brakes, suspension, drive shaft, steering rack, CV joints, etc. So in the event any of this goes wrong, the technician or mechanic will be able to work on it because it's what they do all day long, day in and day out. Under there, it's not all crazy new stuff. And that's really true for the Ocean as well. Magna produces body structures, chassis structures, trim, engineered glass, active aerodynamics, energy storage systems, electrified powertrain technologies, conventional powertrain technologies, powertrain subsystems, components, complete vehicle engineering, foam, and trim, among other things. So there's a chance that not only are the parts on the Ocean used by other vehicles, but they're familiar to your technicians and mechanics alike. Electronics can also go wrong on an EV. If you've done any research on EVs, you'll find that software can be both the savior and the enemy in an electronic repair situation. If the software and electronics don't get along, then problems arise. But remember, the Ocean will use over-the-air updates, so software typically won't be worked on at the service center. So far, so good. How about the motor? This is a possible failure, but very unlikely. In the event of a failure, it's just a part. You replace it. Any mechanic with instructions and training will be able to do it. The better question with all this is, what are the things that a technician and a mechanic won't be doing to the Fisker Ocean? I mentioned this in a previous video. The video goes through all the things an EV doesn't need compared to those of an ICE car. You can watch it here. Coolant, oil changes, oil filter, engine air filter, serpentine belt, timing chain, exhaust system, engine parts, that's plugs, wires, connectors, couplers, etc. Transmission fluid, transmission, fuel pump, fuel tank. And then there's the dreaded check engine light.
Crankshaft position sensor, camshaft position sensor, throttle position sensor, mass airflow sensor, vane airflow sensor, manifold absolute pressure sensor, oil pressure sensor, fuel pressure sensor, intake air temperature sensor, fuel temperature sensor, oxygen sensor, exhaust gas temperature sensor, nitrogen oxide sensor, NOx sensor.
So all that's out. Did you even know ICE cars had all that stuff? If you learned something, smash the like for me. So there's not really a lot of service to do to an electric car. So what are the service technicians going to be doing when you show up? Recalls, especially in the early days, like HV battery components. The Mach-E had a contactor thing, or electrical parts. The ID4 had an FPCA thing, or just routine stuff like the Leaf that had a backup camera thing. So now on to tires. What about tires? Here's how you buy tires for an EV. Go online to whatever the major retailer is in your country. Ours is like Tire Rack or any of those other ones. And type in the car that you have. Select all the appropriate trim appointments and you'll see what you can buy. Then go to a forum. Ask the forum what they've bought in the past. People will have had blowouts and caused tire damage and have had to do replacements before you. Even if you just got a Fisker Ocean 1, somebody's already blown a tire. And they'll have suggestions for you. And then go to a trusted installer or just order them online and have somebody put them on for you. Boom. Done. What's your favorite place to get tires? Let me know down in the comments. To wrap it up, what service will Fisker be doing to your Ocean? Recalls, diagnosis, drivetrain repair, inspections, and tires if you want. What about bodywork? That's not a service thing, That's a body shop thing and a completely different topic. And what are the major challenges going to be for these third-party centers? In my opinion, the biggest challenges for the Fisker Ocean at the service center will be keeping parts on hand, ordering parts in a timely manner, and reporting unknown issues because it's a brand new car from a brand new brand. But these can be issues with every other car. Also, there's no emissions, so you don't have to worry about that. Finally, how about the misaligned parts like body panels, things of that nature? I figure the service center will be trained to make these adjustments. If not, guess what a body shop can do? Remember, it's not an ICE car, so there's so much routine maintenance that is just not going to be necessary. What do you think will be the hardest thing? Let me know down in the comments. In my opinion, I definitely think parts availability. Bent rims, broken suspensions, and that kind of stuff. So, did I cover it all? And what additional questions do you have about service? Let me know down below. Subscribe for more. We'll see you on the next one.
Hey! Smash the like button!
Thank you.